Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm moving forward to the bow of the boat and gonna start working on the bulkhead up here. I'm gonna move this bulkhead back. This bulkhead's actually gonna be cut out and then slid back and then re-glassed in and enlarged. And then this is gonna be a anchor locker from up here to the top. I'm gonna have a hatch up here cut in to allow me access to my anchor line. And it'll be offset from my trolling motor and bracket, which will run back to here, and that way I won't have to worry about dropping the trolling motor and getting, you know, access to my anchor line. And then right in here there will be another hatch cut in. I'm gonna move back that will allow for a trolling motor battery, a 36-volt lithium battery, so that way I can tie all that in here and, you know, maximize my space. But either way, I've got to remove these and I've got to start cutting this out. So that's kind of what we're doing next. On top of that, I'm also going to take and put 2 layers of 1708 all the way around this. So I'll come in with structural putty, lay down structural putty, and then put 2 layers of 1708 on the top of this deck, just to give it extra strength and then cover all any low spots up, and it'll look real clean and fresh. But that's the pretty much the next plan. I should have my fuel tanks come in this week or next week, and once I do that, then I can get back to the stringers. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to accomplish everything that I can to keep the project moving forward. All right, well, let's get to it. All right, well, we got that bulkhead cut out. I opened this up quite a bit. I'm going to kind of show you the plan, what I'm going to do here. All this is going to get sanded down and glassed, and I'm actually going to reinforce this with a 1/2-inch Kuza board that's going to be cut out and support this entire deck right here from the underneath as well as the top, but just underneath right now with a 1/2-inch Kuza glassed in to give me more strength for my trolling motor, as well as just better strength in the deck overall. I'm going to use the cardboard and measure out a template and then start working that, and that'll be at a 1/2-inch Kuza board as well, and then I'll cut in my hatches as I need to. But overall, it's going. All right, let's get back to it. All right, there she is. That should work as long as it don't get wet. No, it's just my template. I'm gonna pull that out and use that as my template on a 1/2 inch Kusa board. I'll probably cut it just a little bit thick, or a little oversized, I'd say, and I'd rather come back and trim it. It's easy. That stuff's really easy to sand, so I could sand it in and get it in there nice and tight. So I'll do that. So I'll cut it a little too big, knowing that I'll probably have to sand it, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather have it tighter than really loose in there, and then not have a good seal when I go in and tab it in with the glass. So I did get glassed in with 1708, and then I'm going to glass all this other inside as well, like wherever all those conjunct, like all these connections right here. I'm going to sand all this and then re-glass all that as well, and then glass the floor, glass everything in, and then the bulkhead. And the goal is to get, I don't know if I'm going to have enough room looking at it to have a 36 volt battery. It's going to be really tight. I'm going to have to get the measurements of it, but what I wanted to do was cut a hole right here to put in my battery to keep it, you know, within inside this little box right here, and then have a shelf here, and then the anchor rod and all the, you know, the anchor itself and chain will go, you know, on top of that, and then access from the door up here. This is also kind of getting ahead a little bit, but I'm also putting a 2,500 pound lift, a winch, like a pulley system to be able to lift bluefin essentially, but any big fish, but hopefully, Lord will, a bluefin. That divot is going to go right here. It's going to go into the base. I'm going to reinforce all this with Kusa board, and that divot slides into here, and that anchor, or the winch, slides into the divot within that'll be in the deck, and then it'll go straight up, and then I'll be able to lift, you know, tuna over the gunnel into this big large open area right here. The box that I'm in, I'm actually going to convert this box to a big cooler, as well as having a large angle cooler on top of it as well. So I'll have lots of ice and lots of storage. And another thing that's going to go right here is a bow thruster. I already have all the stuff, I just have to get it installed. That is the one thing that I will pay someone else to do. I am not cutting a hole in the hull of my boat. I will pay someone else to do that. So I don't feel that comfortable doing that myself, and it takes a special drill to go across there and do it right, and I've never done that, so I'm not going to start. But anyway, that's the template. I'm going to pull the template out and trace it out on a sheet of 1/2 inch Kusa, and start working that in there. All right, template is cut, or the Kusa board's cut using the template. I'm gonna jump up there and see how she fits. It's just a little too tight. That'll square just a little bit. with it, trim a little bit on the top to get it to slide in there a little bit more. But it is nice and tight. Turned out pretty. It's nice when a plan comes together. Alrighty, I've got the bow sanded in. I've got all this area right here sanded down and grinded down as good as it's gonna get. It's pretty flat, not perfect, but it is flat enough. So after looking at this a little bit more, I'm gonna go in and cut a sheet of 1-inch Kuza board to fill in this bow, so it will actually almost look like a triangle, you know, the shape of the bow, and it's going to slide in and then go all the way up to the very end where the cap screws to the hole. So when I go back in from the outside, it will screw into that 1-inch piece and give me some backing, kind of like this little backing strip right here for the cap and the insert. So it should really increase like the strength of the bow. But even more important for what I'm trying to do is make sure that this deck is solid. So when I put my trolling motor and, you know, pretty much any weight up there whatsoever, that it's not going to give. It's going to be pretty solid. I'm going to insert that, epoxy it, and then I'm going to go ahead and replace this little piece. I cut this piece out. I was looking at the wood. I'll show you when I get off the boat, but it was only laminated on one side. So I'm going to put a new piece of Kuza board in this and glass this in, and then glass all this back together as well. So glass this in, and then my deck will come here and sit in like this. You've already seen that, but it's a little bit of a mess in here. There's really no way to film and over my shoulder without someone filming over for me. So I sanded it down as much as I can, but this will speed you up on what we're looking at. So all right, well, keep at it. Well, I got that piece in for the underneath the deck. I got it cut in. Got it fitted. Fits pretty good. I think it'll work really well. I've got epoxy one side, but before I do that, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to glass one side with 2 layers of 1708, and then I'll put it back in there and epoxy it, screw it down from the top, and then also from around the sides to pull it up nice and tight, and then pull those screws out before the epoxy starts to dry. But overall, it's come along. A lot of work, or I've done a lot of work for for pretty much most of the day. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. I'm gonna wrap it up. Got everything cut out, sanded down, cleaned up, and next thing I'm gonna do is start glassing those pieces and start putting them back together. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a wonderful day. God bless.